Something quiet but heavy unfolded in China, ladies and gentlemen, overnight. Power shifted behind closed doors. Old trust broke fast. Yes, so the full meaning is still what's not forming, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? Reports from several major news agencies say a major event happened inside China's military leadership late night. So the focus is on actions taken by the Chinese President Xi Jinping, okay, linked to a senior military figure who had deep personal and professional ties to him. Ladies and gentlemen, now the events were actually reported to have taken place in Beijing, that is the capital city for China, okay, and it involved the highest levels of the armed forces, setting the stage for serious internal change. According to these legal reports, ladies and gentlemen, a top uniformed officer described as the second most powerful figure in the military, ladies and gentlemen, was actually detained, okay, yes. So this officer was actually known as a long-time ally of the Chinese president and of course came from a family history closely linked to the country's early revolutionary period. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? For decades, this relationship was actually seen as a strong and stable, which actually makes the timing of this move stand out quietly, okay. So the reports say the accusation involved sharing sensitive military or nuclear information with the United States of America, okay. So these claims have not been confirmed publicly by Chinese authorities yet, but they have appeared across multiple international outlets. The seriousness of the claims alone have actually drawn strong attention from global observers, and the situation continues to develop carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, now around the same time, data began circulating about wide changes in the military command structure. Several senior officers appointed in recent years are no longer in their roles. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? These certain patterns suggest an internal reset rather than a routine change, and observers are watching closely for what may come next. Before you continue, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel or community, and of course make sure that you turn on notifications, okay. So your support actually helps us share clear and of course campus news with more important people like you, okay, and it is really or truly wasn't appreciated, okay. So as the story on this narrative actually moves forward, reports point to more people being involved, okay. So sources actually cited by international media say more than one senior general was detained, okay. Some reports also say family members and many military staff were also taken in for questioning, okay. So the total number mentioned reaches into the thousands, okay. So true exact figures remained unclear, keeping the picture incomplete for now. So several outlets described the situation as a failed coup d'etat attempt, okay. So this report claims the plan was actually aimed at removing the Chinese president from power. They also say the attempt did not actually succeed, ladies and gentlemen, because early warning reached the leadership hours before any action could actually unfold. So this early alert is said to have changed the outcomes quietly but fully. So what makes this situation matter is the scale. Reports say many officers connected to the long-term military plans are no longer active. So this includes the figures linked to planning around Taiwan, whilst no official details confirm these claims, ladies and gentlemen. So the pattern suggests a deep internal concern about loyalty and control within the system. As one former intelligence analyst said, ladies and gentlemen, and I quote, total annihilation of the high command, quotation close, said this is actually said by a former intelligence agency analyst. So these comments reflect outside views, not official statements, and adds to the growing interest in what these changes truly mean. To better understand the weight of this report or claims, ladies and gentlemen, it helps to look at recent history. In 2022, several senior officers were actually appointed to the top military body. So over time, all of them have now, been removed from their posts, ladies and gentlemen. So according to public records and media reviews, so this level of turnover is rare and has drawn calm and serious attention worldwide or globally. So international observers note that China's leadership system places strong value on trust and order. When changes happen at this scale, they actually often signal internal review rather than external pressure. So the current reports or claims suggest the leadership is focused on control, unity, and of course internal discipline above all else, which shapes how these events are being handled. So reactions from outside China have been careful, ladies and gentlemen. So governments have avoided strong language and have mostly pointed to the need for verified facts. So market and regional partners are watching quietly as stability in China affect trade, security, and long-term planning across many regions. Ladies and gentlemen, so inside China, official communications has actually remained limited. Yes, it has actually remained limited. No full public explanation has been released yet, and state media's coverage has been brief. Okay, so this silence leaves room for many reports to actually circulate, which is why verified news remains important or essential as the situation continues to settle slowly. Looking ahead, ladies and gentlemen, now these developments may lead to lasting changes in how China manages its military leadership. So analysts, say the message appears clear. Rank, history, and of course personal ties do not actually outweigh loyalty to the current system. So this approach may actually strengthen central control whilst also reshaping future decisions path in quiet ways. Well, the situation also affects how other countries or states read, China's next steps. So this does not actually signal sudden action, but rather a period of review and internal focus that, could actually shape future policy in steady, measured with no ways. So it is important and very essential to remember that many details remained based on reports, not confirmed public records. As more verified information becomes available, so the picture may actually change. For now, the key point is the scale and speed of the response, so which suggests a leadership intent on stability above all else. So thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown or this analysis very helpful and very useful, please like the video, subscribe, and of course turn on notifications. We will actually continue to share calm, clear updates as more facts become available. Thank you so much.